And we are live. Welcome back to the Arena Coop.
Hey
This is
everyone,
Adwakta.
thanks for joining us. I am so excited to be joining in the first Arena Coop after GVG. It seems like it's been forever, hasn't it?
It's been a while. It's been 2 weeks, but it really seems like it's been 2 months because we have just been like hard at work on like the tier list and then like Hearth Arena and just stuff and more stuff. But all of this is this is how hasty we're putting together. Like, seriously, we had just made a pretty serious update to Hearth Arena, like, maybe, 2 hours ago. And then we made more cleanup stuff, 15 minutes ago. So this is all happening in real time. And I am so hastily putting together this stream that I don't even have this pop filter thing up.
There's a lot of hype going on in the chat. What's up? I love your tier list. People are excited. Yeah, so we have made actually two big changes after our initial GVG kind of preliminary GVG rankings, and we've actually realized a lot after testing, and thank you to everyone in the community for giving us some feedback as well. It's been really helpful.
Yeah, that Reddit thread, very helpful. If you guys contributed to that Reddit thread, we looked at everything, and we didn't take all of the thoughts on there. Unstable Portal being the very notable, exception that everyone was not everyone, but I would say like half the people are probably clamoring to have it moved up. Hasn't been our experience, hasn't been our calculations. Just it could still move up. Like these, we're going to make at least. I'm almost certain something's going to move at least 10 points. Still, like it could probably be an epic that we haven't played yet. The meta may shift and make something a lot better or a lot worse, but things are going to still move. We're going to do another update, if not next weekend, then probably next weekend, or like Monday. But expect another update with more things to be moving. But this is after that movement. I think we have, as far as the tier list goes, a very good grasp of where the things are in the commons and the rares, at least.
Yeah. David Jayhawk says, "Whoa, Jeeves went way up." Yes, it did. We played with Jeeves.
You guys could watch the Poltralizer and see some of our experiences with Jeeves. Oh no, we played Jeeves in the one run that we played together that we didn't stream, right? I think that's the one run. So you guys didn't even see how amazing Jeeves was. He wasn't that amazing.
Yeah.
He wasn't that amazing, but he was
Crab
also.
Meta was taken into account.
Yes, whoever it was that talked about the hungry crab, that is so spot on. Like that's definitely we were just wrong.
We were just wrong. It's a new puddle stomper hungry crab meta.
Yeah. Huh. What? Hold on. I just realized. There we go. Hearth Arena. So Hearth Arena is now functioning.
You gotta say it with more confidence, man.
Hearth Arena is now absolutely functioning at the same degree that it was before GVG is released.
There you go.
All right. Oh. Let's go do the Arena Coop. We're doing a Rogue run today. You've played a lot of Rogue, Merps. Tell us how you think Rogue is fitting into this GVG meta.
Sure. So as you guys probably know or have experienced, the post-GVG arena meta seems to be a little bit faster. You see a bit more aggro decks, but more importantly, you see the importance of curving out well. It's definitely much more punishing now post-GVG if you cannot drop something on curve than before. And this is also kind of why, you really need to focus on grabbing quality early game stuff, and with Rogue, it fits very well into the aggressive new style meta. So I've had a pretty good success rate with Rogue. What do you think?
I have also had a decent success rate with Rogue, and it's definitely not one of those classes that you're like, oh my god, GVG made this the most amazing thing, but it does fit into that meta with the Hunter and all that, where you have the ability to provide a lot of reach very quickly to end the game. So you can be one step ahead of the more aggressive meta. And also, a big problem that keeps coming up is that there's a lot of little stuff. It's coming out early. It's coming fast at you. If you don't kill it off, or taunt up or do something, you're going to get overrun. Rogue has less of that problem because it has a lot of very good early removal and it has very good tempo on its hero power. So you could take some damage and then be fine. Okay, so let's start this.
Started. Also, so when do you want to talk about Hearth Arena? Because tomorrow is the big day.
Oh, the whole thing. Let's talk about Hearth Arena. We have announcements about like Hearth Arena and the actual release and things like that at the end of the draft, and we'll talk about that. For now, let's just see how it performs. Maybe no one will want to use Hearth Arena after we pick 18 cards that are different than what Hearth Arena does.
Fair enough. You are not sharing your screen with me anymore.
It's because I don't want you to see anything.
What are you doing?
Hold on.
What are you doing that's so private that you don't want me to see?
But I am streaming this private thing out. Hold on, sorry. There are so many windows that have to be open to do this. Okay, I am now sharing with you again. Right?
Yes, you are. Good.
All
Excellent.
right. But so Merps, by the way, can't see Hearth Arena. So Merps is going to give all of his advice without Hearth Arena. I obviously can see Hearth Arena, and you guys can see Hearth Arena.
Right. I mean, I could see it if I could look on the stream, but I'm just gonna not look at the stream. So, are we doing this exercise again, where I actually don't look at Hearth Arena?
Yeah.
And we see
Why
how
would you look
accurate
at
it is?
Hearth Arena?
Sounds good. First pick, SI7 Agent. Not even a question. Second pick, Deadly Poison. Just the overall great card. I need to slow down a bit for Hearth Arena, don't I?
We're good.
We're good. We're good. Third card, Spectral Knight, highest value. I mean, Dark Scale Hero isn't bad, but we're definitely going with the Spectral Knight here. It's just the highest value card. Let's see. Frost Elemental, Ship's. Have you ever gotten like one shot fired with the ship's cannon yet?
No, it's just a 2/3. I think we just value it as a 2/3 too. I think on our tier list it's not even higher. Yeah, it's a 46. It's not even higher than a Croc.
I mean, I'm fine with Frost Elemental here, but I'm just curious. I haven't even ever seen ship's cannon being fired, so I'm even like curious about the animation.
That's
but I'm fine
true.
with I'm fine with the Frost Elemental here.
Yep. So Hearth Arena right now has already, you can see this, it's boosting Phantom Knives by like a point because it knows we don't have a board removal. And it knows that Rogue doesn't have a lot of board removals. So Phantom Knives is actually going to start ramping up in value. But it's still, and it's a little shy on Frost Elemental by like 0.7 points because we already have a big drop and we only have 3 cards. But that's fine. I think we go with the Frost Elemental here. We can always pick up a Phantom Knives later. That is the pick that Hearth Arena would make too, so it's still correct. I'm just pointing out the movements that's already starting to happen.
Curious, how far are they apart? Because I don't think they're far apart.
They're not far apart. They're like less than 2 points.
Oh, good. Good.
So someone in the chat has asked, why can't Merps see the stream? Merps is not. I'm not screen sharing my entire screen. I'm just screen sharing Hearthstone to Merps. Mm-hmm. So he actually can't see what I'm seeing right now. And neither can you, because you are not. I'm not screen sharing with you. I am window sharing with you as well.
Yes.
Otherwise, you'll see a very cluttered screen with like chat and everything.
Okay. Oh, this is a pretty, I guess, interesting pick. So you got 3 cards that are pretty close in value here. You got your Sprint, Brewmaster, and Betrayal. So we don't have a 2 right now, but you always want 1 Sprint. So over here, Sprint is just the highest value card, but then again, taking into consideration that if you take 1 Sprint, the next Sprint is basically just useless. And Betrayal is pretty good. So you have to take into consideration, like, will I get another Sprint sometime in the deck? I think I might pass on the Sprint here and either just go for the Brewmaster or the Betrayal.
Hearth Arena is picking Sprint because we have Sprint like with a good insane first pick bonus on the tier list. I don't know what I would do. We already have 2 big things. I think I would go with a Betrayal here.
Yeah, I always like having 1 Betrayal in the deck, even if people play around it, because you always try to play around it. It usually gets some sort of value. Like,
but it's the same as Sprint, though. We would also want to have 1 Sprint in the deck. So now I'm wondering why I'm going to pick Betrayal over Sprint. Because I kind of
Well,
want to pick Betrayal over Sprint, but Sprint,
So is there merit in just picking the Panda?
no.
It's definitely the lowest.
It's
Yeah.
the lowest, and especially in the GVG. So our system automatically adjusts when you add cards and when you change the values and all that. So it knows exactly how many like 2-drops you're expected to pick, and so it's upping
Right.
and lowering the scores as it sees fit. It's upping the Panda by 4 points right now because that's how much it's raising the value by. That's how much it thinks it's gaining in value because we don't have a 2-drop yet. That's not that much, and it's not enough to push it even over the Betrayal, much less the Sprint.
Okay. So after all that, are we just circling back to Sprint? I'm okay with that. But
I'm gonna listen to this and go with the Sprint for now. We'll
Okay,
see
let's
if
do
the
it.
Sprint pops up again. I think one of the reasons why Sprint is getting higher now than what we had originally put it as, and we might even have to like drop its tier score. I think that may be an issue. But I think one of the reasons why it's putting it so high now is because with GVG 20%, you're 20% less likely to see a Sprint again
yeah,
compared to what we expect.
yeah, and we've taken that into account as well. So
Like, would you rather have a deck without a Sprint or without a Betrayal? I think I would much rather have a deck without a Betrayal than without a Sprint.
it's a tough one.
I'm gonna go with the Sprint.
That's fine. Those are the type of choices in which you really do have to think about.
Yeah.
All right, Loot Hoarder here.
Yup.
I actually got an Undertaker Hunter deck to work the other day in the arena, and that was pretty
Yeah.
fun.
How far did he go?
8.
How many death rattles does you have in the deck?
Like 6.
Yeah.
And by got it to work, I mean like you got like 6 quality death rattles, and then I did have like a leper gnome. So one time I like Undertaker coin leper gnome, turn 2 haunted creeper, turn just typical constructed shenanigans. So over here we got Ventrico, Stone Tusk Boar, and Defiance Ringleader. We have quite a few big stuff. I'm tempted to just take the Defiance Ringleader here.
Yeah, I want the Defiance
Yeah.
Ringleader. Hearth Arena is telling you to pick the Ventrico right now. It's not ramping up in what it's doing to the Ventrico like fast enough. Because it's lowering the Ventrico and slightly upping the Defiance, but not fast enough. And Defiance also isn't a 2-drop, so it's not giving the value for the 2-drop, but I want a Defiance here instead of a Ventrico.
Right. So here's the thing. Like, you want it as a 2, except it's not really a 2. It's just it's like half a 2. It's conditionally a 2. And Ventrico, it's okay. I mean,
Yeah.
I
Oh,
wouldn't
and
be,
we're
like,
spell
mad
heavy
at
right
it.
now. We have a Sprint and a Deadly Poison, and they're thinking that that's Ventrico synergies, which they are, but it's not like it's probably not moving the score by too much. Or maybe it is
Yeah,
moving the
yeah.
score too much. We would
Okay, so
probably
this is
look
where
at the
we-
Ventrico and see how much it's actually getting moved up.
Yeah. So this is where we would disagree.
Yeah.
But I'm good with taking the Defiance here.
I'm taking the Defiance.
Cool.
I wonder which
Okay.
one.
Well, I'm glad that this Sprint pick comes with another quality card, so we don't have like a very tough decision. Although honestly, the second Sprint is worth almost nothing.
27.15 points.
Ooh, what a drop. Piloted Shredder is really nice, so let's go with that. Dark Iron is just a very solid card. Nothing fancy about it. Let's see. Argent Commander.
Easy.
Fine with our Argent Commander here.
Easy picks. Easy picks.
Easy picks.
More easy
Sludge
picks.
Belcher.
Whoa, this curve, man. This is like a not rogue like curve at all.
This is not rogue at all. I'm also hoping to get like at least one Goblin Auto Barber and Tinker's Sharp Sword Oil.
Yeah. I mean,
Tinker's Oil is
we're
really...
picking a sludge, right?
Oh yeah, of course we're picking a Sludge.
Just
I'm not
wanted
gonna
to
go
make sure.
Demolisher.
Oops! I
Oh,
clicked
what
wrong.
are you doing?
I clicked wrong. I don't even know what the picks were. This is what happens when I'm like operating more things at once. What did we pick? Oh, okay, we didn't pick an awful card. We did not pick an absolutely awful
We
card.
didn't pick an absolutely awful card, but you picked it over Crusader, and we could have really
Oh.
used a 3-drop too.
Fine. What was the other card? Do you remember? I'm just gonna put Abusive Sergeant. That's my default for I don't remember.
You're terrible. Wow,
Yeah.
that was.
Okay. Fine.
Let's go a little bit slower. Or I don't know.
I can't operate two things at once.
Oh my god, you're terrible. So what, were you clicking back onto the screen?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, alright, so when you click back onto the screen, let's make sure you click not on a card. For Shiv, that's cool. Ogre Brute is just a high value card. Plus we need 3 now that we passed up Star Crusader.
Fine.
Yep. I'm gonna remember this. Whenever we need a 3-drop and we have Burly Rockjaw Trog in our hands, I'm just gonna shake my head. Oh, okay. This is actually kind of interesting. We were just talking about Assassin's Blade the other day, right?
No, it's
and by
all
other
in your
day, I mean
head.
yesterday.
It's all in your head. We have never discussed.
Yeah, I think we like Assassin's Blade just a little more post GVG as well. There's more ways to buff it. It's a good finisher, and the charges are really important now. Then I mean, Spellbreaker is a quality card, but we don't have too many weapons. We have quite a few 4s actually. I'm good with taking the Assassin's Blade.
Yep. So is Hearth Arena, and so is our tier list.
Nice. Okay, well, let's see. What do we want to silence potentially? Loot Hoarder is bad, Ogre Brute is good, Burly Rockjaw Trog is bad, Shredder is bad, Belcher is bad.
We're not silencing anything.
We're not silencing anything. Spectral Knight is bad. Oh, jeez, that's all terrible. So, right now it's kind of Arcane Golem versus Pint Size. How many 2s do we have? We really only have 1 2. Are we just gonna?
We need the 2s.
We need the 2s. Pint Size Summoner.
There we go. And that was Hearth Arena recognizing that and giving the same advice.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, even though we could use either a 2 or a 3 because we passed up on a Scar Crusader, Torn Warrior is just really bad. So spell power for rogues is really good, but what can we?
Shiv.
So we got Shiv, and is that?
I like having
now?
the synergy thing here. Merps could ask the question. I would literally read off of this because it's telling you every possible synergy.
This is so we don't have a rogue deck right now. What is this deck? This is not rogue. I don't know what this is, but
it's just mid-range deck.
It's sort of a mid-range.
Well, Hearth
deck,
Arena will
sure.
tell us what deck we make by the end of it. So.
Yeah, that's true. I'm okay with just taking the Fen Creeper here.
Yep.
Oh, look.
Hey.
The card that we gave up on. All right. I mean, there's no real discussion here, I think. Scar Crusader. Oh, very nice. So we have Perdition's Blade versus Kodo. I'm pretty sure they're very close in value according to the tier list, right?
76 for Kodo, 74 for Perdition's Blade.
Right. But I think having a Perdition's Blade just to kind of hold us and like give us another early game option is good. We have quite a few 5s, even though Kodo is a very quality 5.
Yeah, we have a lot of 5s, and we need some tempo here in the sense that this is a rogue deck with very little tempo, which is usually a dead rogue deck.
This is not a rogue deck. It's just we need a few Goblin Auto Barbers to start showing up, and we need like an Eviscerate or 2 or a Backstab. We need those cards.
Yeah. So it like I say in Hearth Arena, normally I would pick Stampeding Kodo. However, we could use a large removal. We need a board clear. I suggest you pick Perdition's Blade in this situation. I don't know why they think this is a large removal, but I will go with it.
Sounds good.
I was almost going to click the Kodo. I can't do this operationally. This is way too difficult.
All right. Well, I think we just for this one, just go for the best card. Tinkertown Technician, is there a reason to pick that one? I
Yes,
don't
we have
think
so many mechs.
So many mechs. Spiteful Smith is just ridiculous in any rogue
Yeah,
deck.
this isn't
so
even
let's go for that.
close. This isn't even close, and we have a Perdition's Blade and an Assassin's Blade.
Yeah, definitely.
And we also have a Shiv. Why the heck is... Oh, Shiv is synergizing with Spiteful Smith because it can trigger it. I'm like, why are we synergizing with the Shiv? That's good. That's good, Hearth Arena. I like that.
That is actually really good because if you're off by 1 damage, you shiv your guy,
Yeah.
and that actually provides 1 more
Yeah.
damage. Ha. Okay, so here's the interesting thing. Usually, I love having 1 sap in a rogue deck, but we don't have a rogue deck.
We don't.
We don't. So Conceal is definitely out of the question. But let's just go for the Shattered Sun.
There's no point in sapping. We're not going to... This is not going to be a roguelike deck at all.
No. Let's go for a Shattered Sun.
I do wish we have like some GVG cards that's not called an Iron Sensei.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so at this point, let's see. How many weapons do we have? We have 1 Deadly Poison. We have 1 Perdition's Blade, and we have an Assassin's Blade. There's still a chance we'll get some more weapons. How many legit 3 drops do we have? We have Brute, Scarlet, and then that's basically it for things that we could just drop. I'm okay taking the Imp Master here.
I want to take the Imp Master too.
Yeah.
Hearth Arena has not pulled down Perdition's Blade far enough. It's giving it a hefty penalty, but it's not far enough. It is picking up on the sprint into a Perdition's Blade combo though, which is nice. But I do want to Imp Master because we have 2 actual 3 drops.
Yeah. So this is actually a pretty interesting draft. Like I think this draft, there's more to consider than like basically like over 80-90% of other drafts. I like the way that this is going, like forcing us to make some kind of tough decisions.
Yeah.
But Imp Master, 2s, okay, this is good. We get to draft another 2. I'm okay with another Loot Hoarder.
Yeah, let's go with another Loot Hoarder.
Any reason to go anything else?
The Direwolf Alpha, and I'm not sure why, but it is getting an insanely high... Oh, all 2 drops are. Never mind.
All 2 drops.
All 2 drops are. I was like, why are they boosting Direwolf Alpha so much? Even if it's not that much of a 2 drop.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So as it turns out, it doesn't seem like we're missing 3 drops, are we?
So how many 2s do we have? Like legit 2s. We have 1, 2, 3, and then we have. That's basically it. But Harvest Golem is just really good.
Yeah.
So we're picking Harvest Golem.
Harvest Golem is being penalized by over 10 points for being a 3 drop right now.
Yeah. Well, we do have quite a few 3s.
Yeah, and Ship's Cannon is being boosted by 12 or 13 points for a 2. But we don't really need... We have how many picks left to get 2 drops? We have 5 picks left. It'll probably happen. And we're a rogue, so we don't really care that much about 2 drops anyway. Which Hearth Arena does take into account. That you are a rogue and you don't need 2 drops as much. If this were like Priest, this would be going crazy. Ship's Cannon would be at like an 80 right now.
Alright, let's take the Golem. Okay. So now we got Shiv, second Assassin's Blade, and Cogmaster.
The second Assassin's Blade right now, considering how many weapons we have, is worth less than 10 points.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to be able to use all of those weapons. It's just never going to happen.
You're looking very contemplative, by the way, on Hearth Arena. You say, normally I would pick Assassin's Blade. However, we don't really want too many cards to play on turn 5. We really don't want to end up with too many weapons. We absolutely don't want that many Assassin's Blades, and we absolutely do not want to end up with too many cards that use our life as a resource. I suggest you pick Shiv in this situation.
Nice. English be good.
English be good. Okay.
All right.
Dire Wolf Alpha, Fan of Knives, and an Ogre Magi.
I like having at least one fan of knives.
Yeah. At this point, I think it's an obvious
Yeah.
choice. Hearth Arena does not agree with us. Hearth Arena now is getting really concerned about our 2-drops.
Really, this is just a bad showing of Hearth Arena. Like we ran so many simulations and it was doing great for us, and it is just getting just perplexed by this draft for some reason.
It's really pimping the Direwolf Alpha here because it's thinking of it as like a half of a 2-drop. Do we think of it as half of a 2-drop? I don't think we do.
It is half. By this time, I haven't given up on twos, but it's kind of like
Yeah, we're not
the
gonna.
fan
We're
of
just gonna
knives
dagger.
will.
Yeah.
Yeah. The fan of knives will save
So-
us more often.
Yeah, so by the way, guys, if you're wondering why it thinks we have so many 3-drops and it doesn't look like we have like a huge overload of it, it's because Deadly Poison is a 3-drop.
And that's because Deadly Poison is a legit turn 3 play. You drop something on turn 2, and obviously turn 3 you do that. Oh, Auto Barber, come save us. Save
Sir
this draft.
Rattleball says Merps is generous with giving out the O's.
There you go. I'm a generous man. Let's pick Auto Barber and never, never even talk about anything else. All right.
Auto Barber's 110, by the way.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's looking. It's looking really good right now. Yeti, it's pretty good. So, I'm guessing Auto Barber was being boosted by like a need of 2s and also just stuff. Injured Blade Master.
By the way, how right were we not to pick that Scarlet Crusader? Just saying. What did I end up picking? Like a 4-drop? Like a much more
You
useful
ended up
card?
picking the Trog, Burly Rockjaw Trog.
Yeah, and if you had a choice right now between a Burly Rockjaw Trog and a Scarlet Crusader after picking this Injured Blade Master, what would you pick? Honestly, tell me, what would you pick?
You're actually boasting about the fact that you misclicked.
Yes, I misclicked for the greater good, as it turns out.
No, this is no. What happened to ex ante? Like, what happened to you review the decision at the time? You can't go up to a guy and be like, punch him in the face. Realize that because you punched him in the face, you made him like late for a meeting, and because of that, he like didn't get on a bus which crashed. And you're like, hey, dude, I saved you there.
I did.
It doesn't work like that.
It totally
It
does.
doesn't work like that. Can we just pick this card?
Maybe pick the card.
No
It's processing
gloating
my
over-
request. Hearth Arena
over
is
a mistake
processing
that
my
you made.
request.
All right, guys. So I'm gonna talk about this deck. I don't love it. It's not a bad draft. It's just not a great draft. As in, it's not a rogue draft. We don't have a single eviscerate. We don't have backstab for tempo. We have a couple of things which are like, hey, look, it might be a rogue. You got your weapons. You got your shivs. We have one SI7 agent. So that's nice and all, but most of this deck, it's just a deck that I like to call, like, you just play it out. It is what it is.
I wanted a Tinkers.
I would have loved the Tinkers.
I had
but-
one Tinkers once. It was really fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so reviewing the Hearth Arena, we made 4 anti-Hearth Arena picks. One was a Clairvoyant, as the chat said. So we cannot expect Hearth Arena to be Clairvoyant and pick the Burly Rockjaw Trog over a Scarlet Crusader. But the other 3, we had one that was very close between a Venture Co. and a Defias Ringleader. I think the Defias Ringleader was a clear choice. So that's something that we may have to look at. But I think Hearth Arena was just doing that because Venture Co. Mercenary was of a higher value, and at pick 7, it's really not going to move things too much, especially when there's also anti-synergies to going more aggro too. We have like some big stuff. So at that point, it was kind of like I could see why it did what it did. I'm not sure that'll ever be quote unquote fixed. That's just something a human being has to step in and do. Because if we fix that, we'll break everything else. This is like that huge balancing process where you would fix one thing in the big picture, it would solve like 18 billion other problems, and it would make like 4 billion. And then at the end here, the Imp Master over the Perdition's Blade. I'm still not 100% sure on that. I would pick the Imp Master every time, but then you saw how many 3-drops we ended up having.
Yeah, I know.
So maybe
that-
maybe Hearth Arena's right.
Maybe we've seen that too. We've gone back to previous drafts and seen that they Hearth Arena would have preferred a pick, and we differed. And then at the end, we're like, maybe the program's right.
Yeah. Because the
That's
Perdition's Blade
tough.
you can play anytime. It'll deal 2 damage that you don't have to take to the face, and then you'll deal 2 damage, even if it's just for reach. And Imp is
Right.
just a 3-drop. And we were like,
Right.
oh god, we need 3-drops. And as it turns out, we were getting like so many 3-drops afterwards. And Hearth
Yeah.
Arena knew that, and we kind of didn't because we're humans and we don't know the exact mathematical ratios.
Oh man,
And
this
the
is
Phantom Knives over
embarrassing.
Direwolf Alpha, I'm sticking with the Phantom Knives. I think Hearth Arena is just wrong here.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna address this before anyone else. The Palace of Wisdom asks, "Did you get a shave by a Goblin Auto Barber?" Oh, the burn. So yeah, I nicked myself while shaving today because puberty is hard and everything. So I have no excuse. I don't know how to shave or whatever. Yeah, okay, that's it. I just wanted to address it, put it out in the open, make fun of me. Let's go on.
All right. Well, oops. I'm doing something weird again. Okay, so now I'm going to show off a little bit of some of the features of Hearth Arena. I think it's kind of the same if you saw the last preview. We didn't really add that many new stuff. We just focused on making it work for GVG and like creating like a homepage and things like that and like an account system. So here's the deck list. Oh, can you guys see the hover? Hold on. I want to see if they can actually see this. Ah, they can. So you can see that now the one thing we have added is that you can hover over a card and it'll show you the full card. So if you're ever wondering what a Shiv is, you now no longer have to wonder. Also, our mana curve sucks. I just realized that's what our mana curve looks like. God, we have so many threes. Okay, and we are a tempo rogue, as it turns out, unsurprisingly. Kind of surprisingly. I thought we may be a mid-range rogue. But I guess we are a tempo rogue. There will be explanations of what tempo rogues are and how to play them versus what mid-range rogues are and all that stuff. Decklist tier score is actually pretty high. We've gotten a lot of high-value cards despite them not making terribly good sense with each other. Actually, we have more big drops than I thought we did.
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. This deck is... I'm not sure how to play this deck, really.
You just play it. There's not a trick to playing a deck like this. You just play it.
Because it's a card advantage kind of deck, but you're on the
Yeah,
board to get the card advantage. And then there's
remember
Assassin's Blade.
right. Remember months ago when we were debating shamans and you're just like, how do you play it without card draw? I'm like, no, you just play the deck and you win. Hopefully
true.
we just play this deck and we win. That's it.
Okay, deck synergies. Spiteful Smith with a bunch of stuff, Deadly Poison and Assassin's Blade, Auto Barber with bunches of stuff, Dark Iron Dwarf with an Argent Commander. Okay, I don't know if we're going to keep showing this and the end product, but Dark Iron Dwarf with the Scarlet Crusader, also Shiv with the Spiteful Smith. But Sprint right now gets synergies with anything that you can play after the Sprint. It may be getting too much synergies. We may have to tune that down a little. But right now, you're more likely to sprint if you have something that's 1, 2, or 3 mana. And you're even more likely to sprint because of that, because if you have too many low cards, you're more likely to play them out and actually be able to sprint for some good effect, instead of just like saving that sprint for like turn 20 and then, running out of cards. So that's all the sprint synergies, and that's why they're there. We may tune that down a little. Oh yeah, Merps. Way to ruin my announcement by writing it in the chat. So the deck
well.
coverage is the probably your hub for when you're actually playing the arena or right before you play, so you can see what you have. Like, I was counting big drops by hand because it's in my head. That's what I do. This will tell you what all the big drops are, so that's way better. As you can see, we're overloaded on 3s. We knew that. We're a little short on 2s. 4s and 5s were fine. There's not a lot of end game. There's not a lot of 6 drops. So I think that's why I was thinking we're at Tempo Rogue. We have a lot of card draw, but we do have to finish the game at some point because we're going to lose cards also because we just don't have enough big things. Mm-hmm. We have Perdition's Blade as a very small board clear because it could deal 2 damage to 2 different sources. And Phantom Knives is another small board clear. And we have a ton of reach, apparently. Oh, I feel better now. We do have a ton of reach. So the point in which you want to capture to win the game is going to be for this particular deck. Like, we want to spread wide at a certain point on turn, maybe like 10-ish, 8-ish. I'm not sure what the actual tempo of this deck is going to be, but we want to spread wide at some point, and then we want to use up all of our cards and try to deal damage to the face without dying ourselves. So we clear his biggest threats, and we go to the face with the rest of them. And then after the end of that, we'll be able to replenish ourselves with a sprint, hopefully, or with some of our other cards to finish it off with reach. So there is going to be this burst element to this deck.
That's
we
the
have some
eternal Hearthstone
survivability.
question. When do I spread wide?
You always got to spread wide sometime, unless you're a purely control deck. We have a good amount of card draw. We knew that. We have mechs. That's awesome. I did not know we had this built in. So now we know how many mechs we have. It's totally pointless for us because we have no mech synergies. But
Chili Hobbit says, spread wide for the finish.
spread wide for the finish. Well, I guess the control deck can do that. Okay, so I'm gonna snip this so we can have this.
Sure. Anyways, I promised someone in the chat that we would answer the question like 5 minutes ago, so let's tackle that for
What are we tackling?
Where is this? Let's see. It was a question of taunt.
Great.
Yeah. Why can I not work here? Why is this not working? Okay, so the chat is kind of like
Still
frozen
kind
for
of
me right
fuzzy.
now.
I don't really know why this is so fuzzy whenever I make it into a picture. The snipping tool seems to work better on certain programs than on others. Because it looks crystal clear as I'm snipping. And then I finish snipping and it's this like crappy blurry thing.
Oh, so the question is from UJS3. He asks, if you have a bunch of weapons / poisons, how many taunts are you looking to draft?
Some.
What a very informative answer. But okay, building upon that shitty answer, I'll say that yes, you definitely do want some. And the fact is, with Rogue, a lot of the times, because you have weapons and because you're usually able to power out a good early game advantage using Defias, using Backstab, you want kind of, I would say you want kind of like two big taunts on turn 5. So like Fen Creeper and Sledge Belcher are great in the arena. They protect your early game. They allow you to get that face damage in if you so choose, or they just make kind of, they make the math on the board a little more difficult for your opponent, allowing you to make favorable trades or go to the face. So it's kind of tough because you want to evaluate from deck to deck. I would say at least 2.
Yeah, I think 2 is good. I would prefer 3, but that's just
yeah.
That's kind of where we're at.
2 minimum, and then look at your deck.
Yeah. Because you're thinking of it in terms of like, oh, how much damage am I taking to the face? But you should also think of it in terms of if I'm taking damage to my face, that means I'm removing an opponent super efficiently, which means I am on the board and he is not, assuming the rest of your cards pan out. So you actually take less damage overall in the end, and so you just need one taunt to kind of hang out there to prevent you from being in this endless cycle of like, I have to remove everything he puts on the board. But it's also a thing about like managing your health to like not get to this critical point where you're just going to die.
Yep.
And okay. So are we making the announcement?
You go ahead.
Hearth Arena will be released on December 16th. More precisely, most likely, sometime between the middle of the night in December 15th and sometime in the morning or early afternoon on December 16th. We don't know when, but when it happens, 2 things will happen. One is we will tweet about it. Maybe not right when it happens, but whenever I wake up that day or whenever I get to a computer after I'm told that it's released. Or you can just be on the website, heartharena.com, and hit refresh every couple of hours or something on the 16th, and you will be able to get in. And there is actually a very good reason to be one of the first people to sign up, because unfortunately, our tier list, this is really funny. Before we put the GVG tier list up, our programming partner in the Netherlands, he's actually in the chat right now as Hearth Arena, he was just like, oh yeah, we'll release to the public, it's fine. And then our GVG tier list came out, and he's like, oh no. You don't know how much traffic you're getting on this thing. Everyone is using this. If we launch Hearth Arena and half of these people, in the first couple of days, sign up and try to use their website, it will crash. It will not work for anyone. This will be bad. So to avoid that from happening, we're actually doing a limited release on the 16th. This is not a promotion. This is really just because we potentially could, may have problems if everyone came in at once. So everybody who's watching this now or who's watching this on YouTube, do not put this on Reddit. Feel free to tell your friends, but try to keep this off of some like global announcement somewhere so that the only people who know about it are the people who are checking Hearth Arena and are the people who are watching this stream, at least for the first couple of days. So I'm not going to be making a post or anything. But feel free to post. If you want to discuss Hearth Arena, feel free to post on the subreddit. We have a subreddit now called Hearth Arena, which is great. Because I will write a frequently asked questions section there. It will be where you can talk about how great it is or how bad it sucks or why is it doing this, and then other people may answer with like their theories. And if we're not swamped, we can come in and like actually answer, because we'll have like debugging systems so we can tell you why it's doing that. And we can, this will be a good way also for users to report things. And if something looks particularly wrong, it'll just get automatically upvoted, and then we'll fix it. So that's really exciting for us. So we'll also announce it on the Hearth Arena subreddit. Mm-hmm. So that'll happen. But I'm trying to keep this off the main Reddit. I'm trying to keep this off competitive Hearthstone, at least until the weekend. The full release we're hoping to get out before Christmas, assuming the servers aren't overloading, which it probably shouldn't, especially if our programming partner is going to be working kind of in real time to make sure the caching is right and that the bottlenecks are being resolved, or I don't know, bunches of programming terms that we don't understand. But so a limited release does not mean that we give you keys or anything like that. Literally anybody who gets on the website will be able to sign up for an account. Please don't sign up for multiple accounts unless you are multiple people. Just sign up for one, and you will be put onto this like waiting list, and then we'll email you, or like the system will email you when you get off the waiting list and you're able to actually use the system. I don't know what the first X, but the first X number of people, and it'll be a pretty big number, will all be able to just sign up and use it immediately, I'm pretty sure. So that's what's happening with the limited release, and we will automatically expand the list of like the number of people, of users we're allowing for, just automatically as the week progresses. So we're hoping to keep this up so that people can actually use it. So that's what's happening with Hearth Arena, where obviously, as you saw today, there are probably still some minor adjustments to be made, and we'll be making adjustments pretty much for the next, like, ever. I don't think we're ever going to get away from this project because there's always stuff to do. And we will also be adding new features that are currently not in Hearth Arena, and we'll also have a list of that on the Reddit, on the subreddit, that will kind of list out what our plans are. Everything's 100% transparent. We'll talk about our monetization plans on the subreddit also. I'm all for transparency. If you guys hadn't heard this before, me and Merbs together are only going to get 20% of whatever Hearth Arena ends up making, which is probably not going to be that much because these things don't make that much money. But in any case, we're not doing it for the money. We're only on there to be like an actual partner and to have like a stake in this. We don't even need the money, so it's not about the money. But this thing will get monetized because our Netherlands partner does require these things to provide for his food and rent. And
Yep.
I think the funniest part was because I live in New York City. One night when we were working on it, I'm like, oh man, I got to order some spaghetti. And so I ordered some spaghetti, and with the delivery fee and the tip, it came out to like near $20. And he's like, what? What? $20?
$20 spaghetti.
$20.
Didn't you just, like, order like $30 goat or duck or
Dude,
something?
Goat is always worth it. Goat is always worth it.
It wasn't even good. I saw it. It didn't look good. I don't know.
Okay, but anyway, so this is going to get monetized, and the one base thing that we're going to ensure is that everybody, without paying a dime, can get to the actual Hearth Arena algorithm and use it.